Today we are back in the MX5s on LFM and we are racing at Brands Hatch. Brands Hatch came up towards the end of last season, so the track is still pretty fresh in my mind. We were racing this one at a slightly different time of day, and as a result, there was a lot of strong drivers in Split 1, which means we actually got pushed down to Split 2 racing. We managed to qualify towards the front. However, the people around us are a lot quicker than us. So will we be able to hold our ground and compete against them, or will we just get completely swamped? Well, let's jump in to this post-commentated race and find out. All right, so here we are on the grid. We are starting in P7. The lights are coming on. And away we go. A bit of wheel spin off the start as we slide out to the middle of the track, but we managed to maintain P7 here on the run down to turn 1. Elliott on our outside here, which we're going to play nice and cautiously. He's run a little bit wider than we have. So let's see if we can get him here in the braking zone. Brake nice and late, but he actually cuts across us there, and he sends himself off onto the infield. I don't think I did anything wrong there. He just simply came across me, but the promotes us to P6 here. And the pack in front are quite bunched together at this point, so just going to try and make a bit of inroads to these guys in front and build a gap to the behind. The gap is steadily increasing, or it was, so about a second in front, second behind, as we run down the long straight here into the fast right-hander for the first time. So Tristan is getting racy there against Jake in front of us, but we go around the corner. And everything's nice and tidy at the moment, although it looks like Tristan has got it wrong. He's out on the dirt, and that's going to promote us now to P5 in this race. Jake's lost a position as well, so we're going to now look to take Jake as we take a lot of liberties there with that corner. We cut it quite a lot, and we have to be very careful not to cut it too much. But been a tidy first lap from us so far. Gained a couple of positions as we come around the final corner here. Run a little bit wide though. It's gone a little bit wider than I would have liked. But Tristan hasn't been able to gain on that final corner. But we've got a gap now of 2 seconds to the pack behind Tristan. So we're building a nice buffer behind us as Jake looks there in front like he's getting a little bit of a snap mid-corner. Are we close enough to capitalise? I don't believe we are. Don't get a particularly good run there out of the hairpin. Tristan is looking fast behind us though. He seems to be keeping us honest. Less than a second the gap behind. But at this point I'm sort of focusing all my attention to the guys in front, trying to build a bit of a time. But Tristan is right on the back of us there, having had a really bad exit on that corner. We didn't really have a good run through there, so the gap is coming right down, so we're going to have to think about being defensive here into the fast right-hander. I don't think he's going to go for a move. He'd be quite foolish to go for a move, but it does look like he's faster through there, so he's gained a little bit more, 2/10 behind us. We keep it nice and tidy around the corner. He's still right on the back of us here. Oh, but he's got it a little bit wrong there through that corner, and that's going to give us a little bit of breathing room as we now try to settle back down. We've lost a bit of ground, though, to the guys in front. The gap is now back up to 1.6 seconds. But we've got somebody on the grass there. It's Gregores. Hopefully I pronounced his name right, but he's gone massively wide on the exit, so I think we're actually going to go down the inside here. And that's going to promote us into P4 out of Paddock Hill. Watch the inside here. He might go down the inside, but no, he keeps it there. I'm not as close to the apex as I would have liked to have been there, unfortunately, so I haven't been able to pull away. But I'm hoping like, at this point that Tristan is going to be able to catch up here, and they're going to have a little bit of battle in between them, so that obviously I can then refocus and concentrate on what is going on ahead of me and try and close the gap down in front. But we've had a lot better exit there as Gregorez behind us has a little bit of a moment. His car looked very unstable on the exit of that corner, so it's going to relieve the pressure on me a little bit. He's fallen into the clutches of Tristan. He's only 3/10 behind. And the gap to Jake in front now is 1.7 seconds. But like I said, just hoping that these two guys can do a little bit of fighting and hold each other up because they are quicker than me. Bit of a nice line through there, but we're not really pulling away at this moment. Still 0.6 seconds as we come through to the final part of the lap here. Tristan has got it down to a couple of attempts. It looks like in the rearview mirror there, he is very much right on the back of him there. So Gregorez has actually dropped back a little bit by 3/10. So this is what I wanted to happen. As we come round the final corner again to start lap number 4 here. We've managed to extend the gap now to just over a second. They are side by side going over the start-finish line into Paddock Hill here. Surely that's going to compromise them and buy me a little bit of time. It does indeed. There's another couple of attempts there we've managed to extend the gap to. As Jake has now got past Evgeny in front. So it's all changed there for P2 and 3. As much as they're battling behind, I'm kind of hoping that Jake and Evgeny in front will start to battle and bring me back into this, because the gap has really quite extended here. This up to 2.5 seconds. We've really fallen back a little bit. But I get a pretty good exit. Probably my best exit out of that corner so far onto this long back straight. But even still though, Tristan is keeping me honest and he is still gaining on me. So we are not really pulling away. It's 2/10 between the guys behind. But they are very fast. So we are just trying to keep here focused in front. Keeping it nice and steady. We've gone a little bit slow and a little bit deep though into that corner. Might invite the guys to come back at me a little bit. But yeah, the pressure is very much on in this one. As we come once again into the final section here. Just one more corner on this lap. And then we're on to lap number 5 here in P4. But it's very, very difficult here to try and keep pace, trying to build a gap. I feel like I am a little bit here like in no man's land, like not quick enough for the guys in front and not quick enough to stay ahead of the guys behind. So I'm feeling like it's only going to be a matter of time before Tristan mounts the attack as we go massively deep into the hairpin there. That's going to compromise us some time, but Tristan was slow. I don't know if he got caught out by us and our line there. So although we made the mistake, we've managed to stretch the gap again for a couple of tenths of a second. And Jake now has dropped back to P3 here. Not sure what happened there and whether he must have made a mistake, but the gap in front though is still 2 seconds. We're not really making any progress at the moment, unfortunately. Still only 1 or 2 tenths though between Tristan and Gregorez behind him, so it's very, very close racing there. But Jake's made a mistake. He's gone wide. He's on the gravel, and that's going to allow us into P3. And I'm hoping that's going to actually hold the guys up behind a little bit as well. There's a bit of barge in and barge in. They've all run wide. So that's going to massively compromise. And now Evgeny's gone off. We have been promoted to P2. This is huge. We've gone from really being nowhere in this race, losing time to the guys in front and struggling to stay ahead of the guys behind, to now being in P2. Masato in front though is running away with this one. He is almost 7 seconds ahead of us at this point. So it's very much going to be a drive now where we're just going to have to try and keep our head down and see if we can hold on to this P2. Thankfully for that battling, which Jake looks to have dropped behind now of Tristan and Gregorez behind now. But that has bought me a little bit of time on that lap. And the gap has now extended to about 1.5 seconds. But at this point already, I can looking at the relatives, they are already starting to come back at me. So it's not over by any stretch of the imagination here. And if Jake can get back into this one, that'll make it a three-way battle. But once again now, it's just very much a case of keeping the head down, trying to stay focused, trying not to worry too much about what's going on in those rear view mirrors, and driving my own race here. Still a long way to go here. We're about halfway through the lap. We're only on the race, sorry. We're only on lap number 6. Trying to get nice runs through these fast corners, because there's a lot of time that can be gained or lost in those corners if you get them wrong. Just got our wheels cut just over the curb, enough there as well. So we're doing well at the minute. We're doing all right. We're doing what we need to do. The gap is up to about 2 seconds now to Tristan behind. Just like I keep saying, just got to drive my own race at this point. Keep it nice and steady and not make any silly mistakes. We start lap number 7, I think this is. Once again, they're battling very hard behind, but I've gone wide, a little bit wide into that corner. It's going to give them a little bit of space back, a little bit of time back, but Tristan now has lost out to Gregores, so they are still battling hard, which is, like I've said before, that is the game plan here. I really just need them to battle hard and hold them up so I can just bolt away and buy myself enough time so that if they do happen to break away from each other, then I've got enough of a buffer to hang on to this P2. Which will be an absolutely massive result for me here. I know it's only a split 2 race, but these guys are genuinely quicker than me. So we go through the fast right-hander, but it looks like the gap's coming down again. Gregores has got it down to just under a second once more. Looks like he's won very wide there, though. That's going to have cost him a bit of time. We claw back a couple of attempts, but it's going to make Tristan is right on the back of him again. Sort of commentating here on what I can see in the rearview mirrors. You know, I'm just sort of focusing, and the real battle is behind. Keeping an eye on those guys, making sure I've got enough of that buffer as Tristan now makes the move down the inside of Gregores. Jake's looking in for a bit of this action as well. He's only 6/10 behind this pack, so those 3 guys all separated by 7/10 of a second. We're just over a second in front. Little bit of a lock up there, it felt like. It sounded like the wheels locked up, but we've got a pretty good run as Gregores there and Tristan side by side on the exit. And Tristan's going to come out on top of that one. But yeah, now there's 4 tenths now between them all. But as you can see, the gap has now extended to myself. We've got a 2-second buffer now, so they really are starting to... This close fighting, which is really good to see, because they are keeping it clean, but this close fighting is costing them in this race. So the gap now is almost 3 seconds. They've almost lost 2 seconds to me on that first part of that lap alone by their hard battling. Meanwhile, out in front, Sato, the gap is around about 7 seconds, so I wouldn't say he's running away with this one. I feel like he's kind of just taking it easy, not making any mistakes. But something else has gone on behind. They must be battling hard. Gregores lost the place to Jake, but Jake's now lost the place back to him. But the gap was almost up to 4 seconds there at one point. So once again, they are battling very hard, and you can see visually now just how much they have dropped off from me. So this is looking good now for a P2. Take a podium finish in this race. So we come over the line once more. I believe this is lap number 9. We're about to start here, or we just started, sorry. Looking back at my rearview mirror there, Tristan was out on the gravel there, so looks like he lost wide. He got pushed wide potentially by Gregores, and that's allowed Jake also past them. But the gap now is almost 6 seconds. That's just how much time they've cost each other on these last couple of laps. And it's good to see, like I say, it's really good to see close, clean racing. They're all keeping it clean. They're all keeping it on track. Nobody's, like, you know, been taken out or anything like that. But it just goes to show how much time you can potentially lose to the guys in front when you are locked in that battle. But looking at the relatives now, though, it looks like Tristan and Jake are locked in a battle here for 4th and 5th. But Gregorius looks like they've potentially made a bit of a breakaway as we get it massively wrong out of that corner. Gregorius has got about 1.2 over Tristan now. But having gone wide there, it's knocked my confidence a little bit. And I'm just thinking, okay, let's try not to make too many mistakes. We've got a nice buffer here. We just need to keep it clean and consistent. But at the same time, I'm thinking, you know, if I do make those mistakes, it's just going to invite Gregorius straight back in this one. As, yeah, it really does look like Gregorius now has broken away from that pack. Almost 2 seconds now a buffer he's got, so they can really focus now on coming back at me. So I've really got to be on my toes here, not make any stupid mistakes, keep everything nice and clean in this one. Lap number 10 here. And you can start to see visually, like, Gregorius is getting much larger and larger in the mirrors on each corner and each braking zone now. So focusing, being on the A game as we run wide there. So that's not really focusing and being on our A game. That's really going to invite them back once more. Considering the gap was up to about 5 or 6 seconds, we've lost about half of that gap now. The gap is only 3 seconds to Gregorius behind, so I'm starting to panic here. But I'm going to throw this P2 away. We was in such a comfortable position. So I'm actually taking a lot more care on these turn-ins. As we get it wrong once more, even though I'm taking more care, we actually get a bit of a slide on the exit. Lose a little bit more time there. We're even taking it cautiously here. I'm still making mistakes, and I'm, like I say, I'm really getting worried at this point that I'm going to throw this P2 away. There is still a good 1.5 seconds though back to Tristan. So if I was to make a massive mistake here and Gregorius was able to get past us, hopefully we can hang on and only lose 1 position. But I'm hopeful that we're not going to make enough mistakes to lose 3 seconds in these last few laps. But I've thrown races away from comfortable positions before. Last season when we was here in LFM was a prime example of that in one race. Not a great hairpin there either. Well, I got it massively wrong last season in Dingledale when I was comfortably leading the race and threw away a P1. But the gap is hovering right now about 3 seconds, so we should have enough in hand. Good exit there onto the back straight. 2.5 the gap now. We've lost half a tenth on the start of this lap. Half a second, sorry, to the start of this lap. We've lost another half a tenth through that fast right-hander alone. So Gregorius really turning the wick up now, trying to apply the pressure as we come to the late stages of this race. We've gone wide here through Dingledale. That's not going to help our exit, and that's going to invite him straight back onto the back of us if he can get some good exits. It's less than 2 seconds now, the gap. As we come round the final corner here to start lap number 12. I think we may have one more lap to run here. But the pressure really mounting on me here. Gap to Jake behind Gregorius is only another second, so they are really closing in. Looks like Elliot now is behind Jake, so there's been a mistake behind Jake as well. Tristan has dropped off the back of that one by the looks of it. Not sure what happened to him. but just trying to focus on nice clean entries and fast exits here. Trying not to get on the power too early, trying to keep the car stable, not sliding out. So far it's working as we go down this long back straight once more towards the fast right-hander. Gap now down to 1.7 seconds. And another couple of tenths lost there to Gregores. We get a pretty nice run though through that one. Through Dingledale, we'll be able to get a nice run through here. It's always a bit of a blind crest and a bit of a difficult to judge that entry point, but we've managed to do it well. Run down now to the final corner. The gap has stabilised once more to about 2 seconds, so we're all right. We are comfortable at this point. Round the final corner we go. On the power nice and early. And there we go, guys. We managed to hang on for a P2. The guys behind us definitely quicker. We made some terrible mistakes there. Almost cost ourselves a podium, a comfortable podium, but we hung on and we took P2. Let's see the results. Okay, let's take a look at the results. This was a split 2 race and the strength of field was 1,647. We came home in P2, having started P7. We gained 84 ELO, taking us to 1,763. And we gained 0.38 on our safety rating, taking us to 9.77. We had 0 incident points. Our best lap of the race was a 1 minute 40.539. The best lap of the race by Jake was a 1 minute 39.552. So it was a full second slower than Jake. But as you can see, looking at Jake and Gregores' fastest laps behind, they were really quicker than me. So to be able to hang on and beat those guys was great. We take 133 points for the championship, which is our best result of the week. But no surprise, given it was our first race of the week. So there we go, guys. We managed to hold on for the podium after some pretty nervy moments. Like I said, the guys behind me were a lot quicker, but thankfully they were too busy fighting themselves and actually dropped off the back of the pack. So I'm thankful that they were battling, which actually gave me enough time to build that buffer so by the time they actually started coming back at me, it was too late in the race. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, please consider giving it a like. And if you want to see more racing from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you want to get involved with the racing on LFM, head down to the description where you'll find a link. And hopefully I will see you on track real soon. But all that's left for me to say is until next time, see ya.